This video is about why true forgiveness is difficult without the Holy Spirit and three things that made forgiveness easier for me. And this is for those of you who are struggling to forgive at the moment. Hi, I'm Nikki from HereToWakeUp.com, and I help people stay accountable and connected to Divine Spirit on their awakening journey. I've been spiritually awakened for 15 years now, self-realized for 10, and I am here to help and to be of service to kind-hearted souls that are ready to progress. So if that's you, welcome to my channel, The Healthy Wealthy Recluse. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Make yourself at home. And I also want to say thank you so much to my subscribers. I really appreciate you. On this channel, I make videos about spiritual wealth, healing, and relationships. So if you find that you like it here, let me know in the comments and consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Even dislikes help the channel. So thank you so much for watching all of this video. So from what I've discovered in my own experience, true forgiveness is difficult, if not impossible, without the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit literally helps us with everything that would make forgiveness easy or easier. Like, there are things that only the Holy Spirit can do. The Holy Spirit dissolves darkness. The Holy Spirit knows things that we don't. It has a certainty that we may not always have. So we can lean on the Holy Spirit's understanding. We can borrow the Holy Spirit's sureness. The Holy Spirit can drop the perfect thoughts and ideas and memories into our mind when they're needed. It'll place right in front of our awareness exactly what we need to see, exactly what we need to remember, so that we're informed, we're uplifted, we're comforted, we're reassured, that we're on the right track, we're doing the right thing. And it basically makes the forgiveness process and the spiritual journey in general so much easier and more fulfilling. So there are things that only the Holy Spirit can do, and that's why true forgiveness is difficult, if not impossible, without its help. At the same time, there are things that only we can do. Like, for example, we have to activate the Holy Spirit in our lives through invitation. And we also have to do the mental and emotional work needed to keep that line of communication open and clean and clear. So now I'm going to talk about the three things that have made forgiveness easier for me: willingness, readiness, and spiritual understanding of truth. Not my truth, capital T truth that everybody knows deep within themselves. And these are the only things, all working together with the Holy Spirit, that have actually worked to make forgiveness easier for me in a way that has actually lasted. So I just want to look at these three things a little bit more. So the first thing was willingness. And obviously, this is a major, major key, whether you're practicing true forgiveness or the world's version of forgiveness, which is something different. Because no matter how you forgive, you still have to be willing to do it. You still have to want to do it. So, you could ask yourself, like, do you really even want to forgive this person, this situation, whatever the case may be? Do you actually want to forgive? Do you actually want to move on? Deep down, the ego doesn't really want you to forgive. It doesn't want you to let go. It doesn't want you to move on. The ego wants you to hold on to it and its anger and its pain and its storyline and its seeming identity. It wants you to hold on to all of that. Some people when they're really upset, they'll say things like, "I will never forgive that person," or "I will never forgive that situation." And if you've ever said this or thought this, then, you've got that idea in your mind somewhere. And it's kind of like a vow that you made that's implanted in your mind someplace. So you can see how it might be, kind of difficult to consciously make a decision to forgive if you've got that other kind of energy floating around in there somewhere, right? So if you're struggling to forgive and you really, really want to be able to, you could, first just be willing to change your mind about what you said about never forgiving. And then you could maybe take another step and be willing to consider, just consider at least the possibility of forgiving whoever or whatever at some point, when you're ready. The truth is that really it's the ego in the mind that we want to forgive. It's the thought system that's playing itself out through all these different characters. So we can really just save time by going straight into the mind, forgiving the ego instead of dealing with each individual character. But until we get to the point where we actually get that and we understand that, and that's where spiritual understanding comes in, then at least we can take some small steps in the right direction. And that brings me to the number two thing, which was readiness. So once the willingness is there, then the readiness comes next. And, many people are actually willing to forgive, but they're just not ready yet. Sometimes it's just too soon, like the event or whatever it is just too fresh in the mind. And sometimes people just aren't able to let things go so quickly. Some people can, some people seemingly cannot. And there are so many different factors as to why that is. But the truth is that the sooner you can truly forgive and not just, say that you forgive, the much better off you'll be because your healing can't really move forward until you do. At the same time, I will say this, it is important to honor your process and your pace, okay? Because you can potentially hurt yourself or, set yourself back by forcing forgiveness, rushing before you're ready. Those things can, set you back and even cause the mind to just shut down. And when the mind shuts down, then there's no progress whatsoever. So we definitely want to honor our process. We want to honor our pace. But just remember, we don't want to be marinating in that place any longer than need be. And that brings me to the third thing, and what I consider to be the most important thing of all, and that is having deep spiritual understanding of truth. And I talked about this in my video, How to Heal Yourself Emotionally, which, if you have not seen it and you're interested, I will link in the description box below if you want to look at that after you're finished watching this one. Basically, I just talked about how, true spiritual understanding is like basically the solution to all. Because when you understand what's going on and you understand why certain characters are functioning the way that they do, then it's so much easier to be less emotionally affected and less emotionally involved and offended. You understand what's going on at the deepest level. So there's no taking things personally, um, and so on and so forth. So, when it comes to true forgiveness, in my experience, spiritual understanding is an absolute must because it requires a completely different state of mind and a completely different perspective than the one that's popular in the world. And I'm going to talk more about what true forgiveness actually means in another video Maybe the one after this one, I'm not sure. But if you're interested in that, stay tuned to the channel for that video. Until then, thank you so much for watching this one. I hope it was helpful. I hope it has some value for you. I truly appreciate your time. And like I always say, remember to love yourself because that's the real wealth. And stay tuned for the next video. Take care.